All right, welcome to Ranting and Raving. Day two of the 2023 NFL Draft is done. The Saints picks are in, completing a shocking trend. Once again, did not trade up. According to reports, they tried, but they didn't get desperate. And honestly, so far, three picks in, I think this is a slam dunk draft. Um, wasn't in love with Brissett in the first round, but the more I read about him, the more I see him, the more I kind of like the pick. Like I said in yesterday's instant reaction, and coming in at pick number 40, first pick for the Saints on day two, defensive end out of Notre Dame, Isaiah Foskey. So here's the quick and dirty on him. Wasn't one of the guys I was looking at the most, but looking at his numbers, and then also just again watching him a little bit, just kind of first getting a glimpse of the kid right off the bat. Here's the things that pop out to me. He's both quick and fast. He has the ability to accelerate quickly, to close on guys, to complete the sack. Super important. It's even when he was at his peak, like almost defensive player of the year level peak, Cam Jordan never really had that. It's something really the Saints haven't had out of a defensive end since, you know, Mr. Pootie Tang himself, Beltman, Junior Gillette. Um, Kid is still developing, but I mean that in a good way. Has multiple pass rush moves, does not just rely on a bull rush, but also doesn't just rely on a speed rush either. Has shown elements of both. One thing that really popped out to me, just watch kind of some highlights because we're doing this kind of quick and dirty, is he seems to have a natural sense for his opponent's momentum. So, when you crash into guys, when you're hand fighting, things like that, seems to have a really good feel for when they're off balance or not set, and uses that to shed blockers, get around guys, get past guys, get to the quarterback. Back to back 11 plus sack years, broke Justin Tuck's record at Notre Dame. Has lateral agility, has the ability to chase down mobile quarterbacks. Again, has that speed, has the short area quickness as well. But also the biggest thing for me outside of all of that, because him just being I think he will be a contributing pass rusher day one, and by year three will evolve into a very, very high level player for the Saints. Um, but he is also somebody who can play the run. So this is a guy who, and I say can, but honestly I think it's a foregone conclusion. He can take Peyton Turner's snaps pretty much day one. This is a kid that can come in and win the starting job opposite Cam Jordan and have Peyton Turner be the guy that rotates behind Cam. Honestly, I think he can do that day one. I'm a big, big, big fan of the pick. I know it's an offensive league. I know we need weapons. More on that in a second. But getting a defensive tackle who I think his floor is probably David Onyemata. So at worst, you got a much, much, much cheaper replacement for Onyemata, but his ceiling is top three or four defensive tackle in the league. He's got rare agility, rare speed and quickness. And then you get a defensive end who kind of still meets your prototype, 6'5", 265, 270-ish. Big enough guy to do the types of things the Saints are looking for, but has not just, you know, in tights great testing numbers, but has, it shows up on film. The speed, the quickness, the productivity, the ability to use multiple pass rush moves, to have a plan, and then also the capacity to be further developed. It's all there. Love the pick. And then in round three, again, no trade up. Shocking. Kendre Miller out of TCU. So I got a few quick things to say about Kendre Miller. I absolutely love the pick. I'm an offensive guy, so from a certain perspective, he's my favorite pick out of the three, even though I think all three of these guys are actually really good picks. Should be impact players for the Saints, should be guys that contribute. Fingers crossed, no more Peyton Turner complete busts. Here's what I really like about him. Number one, the kid's about to turn 21. So he's super young, which is really important for a running back. They take a pounding, literally get beat to hell. Um, you get a really young kid, that helps a ton. He stylistically is not dissimilar from Jamal Williams, meaning like he's kind of a cut and go back, has good vision, but the difference is he has a second gear that Williams has never really shown, and sometimes even shows a bit of a third gear, but it's obviously he's not a 4-3 low 4-4 guy, so he's not CJ2K. Let's not get it twisted, but he doesn't really need to be. Um, Here's what he has that I really love. He has enough speed. I think he can rip off 25 plus, 30 plus, even 40 plus yard runs. If they're blocked well, with pretty good regularity, he's very decisive. You watch 5 minutes of this kid and you can see it right away. He's very decisive, but he is also patient. He has good vision. He can see the play developing. He sets things up, but when it's time to hit the hole, he hits the hole. And then if he gets out, 3, 4, 5 strides at the most, instantly hits that second gear and can turn, oh, it's a 6-yard play, but I've got the angle. Now it's a 10-yard play, make one guy miss. Now it's a 35-yard play. Like he has that ability. So, you know, again, just immediate reaction. He's young. He's shown the ability to be a bell cow guy. He's shown a limited ability to catch the ball. I think that's definitely something that can be developed. He's shown ability as some ability as a pass protector, and he's a guy who could be your primary running back by year 2. And as far as being part of eventually, once Alvin comes off his suspension, whatever that ends up being, part of a 3-back set, he brings a skill set that's really in the middle between Alvin and Jamal without being necessarily redundant with either of them in a negative way. But he has, again, outside of just top end speed, he's not Bijan Robinson, who's, you know, easily the best running back in this class, in my opinion. Also, by the way, another reason I'm really glad they got Foskey, whatever. Um, Atlanta obviously grabbed Bijan, and having a end who actually has that speed and quickness gives you more ability to handle, outside runs to the edges. You have a guy who he may not be able to beat to the spot. And that's really, really, really important with a back like that. You cannot let him, get it going, get a full head of steam, and cause problems for you. So getting a guy who could very well be a 3-down back in Kendrick Middler, again, wasn't a guy I watched pre-draft, but um, the little bit of I've had a chance him to watch, really, really good player, really, really good pick. These two guys I could not be more happy with, and the Saints have a fantastic track record in the second and third rounds over the last several years. It's really the first round where they've had a lot of questions, so ton of confidence. More content to come, more opinions, and analysis, instant reactions, etc. If you enjoy the content, feel to like, comment, and subscribe. Any of the above always helps out the channel. Appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon.